Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Thoughts with the First Lady. Just want to thank you for joining me today. I haven't recorded anything on Thursdays for a couple of weeks. I just got really busy and had a lot of stuff going on with teaching my classes on Wednesday night and my other duties that I do here at Church of the Harvest. But just wanted to kind of chat with you guys for a minute since I hadn't chatted with you for a while on Thursdays. And just kind of wanted to share with you something that I shared with my heart-to-heart class a couple Wednesday nights ago. I was teaching on going through the wilderness and the wilderness experience, and I shared a little bit about a wilderness that I had been going through. I woke up several weeks ago on a Monday morning, and I just felt, I just was really just had this sense of grief that had come over me, and I was just started weeping. And if anybody knows me, that is not me. I am not one of these women who cry. I just don't get emotional like that. If I ever cry about anything, Pastor David knows I'm really upset. But this particular day, I was getting dressed to go into the office, and I just had this grief come over me, and I just felt down, and I just started weeping. I couldn't even understand why I felt that way. And so I just kind of pull myself together, finish getting dressed for the day, and I get into my office at the church, and I'm sitting in my office. I close the door, and it just starts hitting me again. I'm just weeping. And finally, I was just like, Lord, what is going on with me? And the Lord just began to speak to me. And the Lord said to me, he said, you are grieving over what was. You're grieving over what was and what you feel that you've lost since this COVID thing happened. And, and I thought about it, and I thought, how much I've missed all my church family who has not come back to live gatherings yet because of physical issues or, just whatever, and how much I've missed them. And I've had several friends who have moved away out of state within the last month or two. And I didn't realize that I had been grieving over missing these people and over the sense of loss, over the world not being the way it was, over Church of the Harvest not looking exactly the way it looked pre-COVID, and I was remembering, pre-COVID, you'd walk in on Sundays and it would just be packed, and there was such joy and such, everybody just loving all over each other. And it's not that way since COVID. You have to be careful with social distancing, and a lot of people haven't returned. And the Lord just spoke to me. He says, you're just grieving over what was. And he reminded me of this story of the prophet Samuel. And when Samuel God was done with Saul, and the Lord began to speak to Samuel that it's time for you to anoint a new king. And Samuel was really struggling with that. And Samuel was just grieving over the loss of Saul and the way things had been. And God spoke to him, and God said, Samuel, stop grieving over what was, and he told him this. He said, fill your horn with fresh oil, because I need you to prepare yourself to anoint a new king. Get ready for the new thing that is about to happen, because I'm about to establish some amazing things in a fantastic kingdom that from their lineage will come the Messiah. And so fill your horn with fresh oil, stop grieving over what was, and get going, is basically what God told Samuel. And the Lord reminded me of that. And the Lord said, you've been grieving over these things that were. You've been grieving over your church family, the way it was, the way it looked then. You've been grieving over friends that you have lost, that have moved away. And it's time to pull yourself up and fill your horn with fresh oil, because I am getting ready to do a new thing. And you got to be ready for this, he's telling me, and you've got to seek me for a greater anointing and a fresh anointing for the new thing that I'm getting ready to happen, that I'm getting ready to do within my body and within your personal life. And it was like when the Lord spoke that to me, I suddenly saw it. I saw, the things that I'd been grieving over, and I saw what was wrong with me that morning and the heaviness that I'd been carrying around, and I didn't even realize it. And God just kind of began to pour a freshness into me and a new hope for the future and for the new thing that he was getting ready to do. So I want to encourage all of you who are out there listening this morning. Maybe you've been in that place where I was. Maybe you've been grieving over what was. Maybe you've been grieving over the condition that the world is in, and you're thinking, I miss the way things used to be and the freedom we used to have, and being able to go about our business and everybody being happy, and before the effects of COVID and before the effects of this election and all the unrest that's going on. Maybe you've been grieving over that. And the Lord wants to speak to you today and say, don't lose hope. Stop grieving over the past. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and allow the Lord to pour a fresh anointing over you and put fresh oil over you so that you can be a part of the new thing that he's getting ready to do. So I want to encourage you in that this morning. Be encouraged. Stop grieving over the past. God's getting ready to do a new thing, and we don't want to be left behind. We want to be a part of that. Thanks for listening today. I will see you guys next Thursday. Peace out.